All right. We are live. I just wanted to say hi to everybody and thank you so much for showing up. Um, so this is going to be, I had two ideas of how I could go about it. You guys can totally either answer in the group chat or just unmute yourself and give me some feedback. But I thought initially that it could just be a wide open, you guys could ask me to show you pretty much anything. And I'd show you how to do it, where it is, yada yada in Pixifi. Or I could go and show you guys something that I was going to just show you, and then after that you guys could just ask a whole bunch of questions. So either sound off in the little group chat or just unmute yourself and let me know what you think.
Sounds good.
Which one? Hi, Olivia.
No one say anything. Which one?
Yeah, would you like me to just show you guys something first, and then maybe that will spark everyone to start asking questions, or do you already have a question?
I did have a question, except I forgot how to get there. But I'll just, I say you show what you want to show, then that'll probably spark in a question.
Okay. Awesome. All right, here we go. So what I wanted to show you guys today, I get a lot of questions in the Facebook group about, Tim, what is this whole proposal system? How do I create a proposal? How do I send a proposal? What is the point of even the proposal system? How do I set up my products? Kind of all that stuff. So I figured I would just kind of go through the whole thing, basically from the start on how to create your products, product templates, and kind of take you all the way through kind of the proposal process. And then, if you guys have questions, then you just feel free to ask. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's just get started. So just get my keyboard there situated. Okay, cool. So first we're going to start in the product templates section. So we're going to go to templates and product templates. So what you'll first want to do is set up your product types, and types are just types. They're very generic. So you'll see here, you don't see any 10 by 10 albums or 24 by 32 gallery wraps anywhere in here. These are just my product types. And then within each type, you can also do what are called option types. And so option types give you more flexibility within your product template to offer different options. So in this case, I have a product type called a flush album. And then it has option types, a front cover type, a page amount type, the album finish, leather type, and page size. Obviously, you guys can read, so I don't have to read all of them. And I could add a whole nother type called, I have no idea, because I've already added pretty much everything for this one. But if your products have options, then you kind of already know what those types are. So like in a gallery wrap, I have 3 different option types: the depth, the size, and the finish. And those are all the option types. So I hope that makes sense already so far. I'm now going to jump into the product templates. Once you've set up these types, then you can start creating your templates. And so let me just filter real quick to some older ones. There we go. So here I had created a flush mount album. Its retail price is $15.50. Cost me $550. This is obviously an old template. I gave it a picture, and I gave it the type of flush mount album that I created here. That's its product type. And then what I went ahead and did was I went and added options to it. So I went and added glossy, matte, metallic for album finish. See, all of those option types show up here. Added tan, black, and brown leather. different page amounts, different page sizes, and front cover types. And the cool thing about these options, you can do it two different ways. Some people do it differently than I do it, but I made it flexible, so I'll tell you what I mean. So this album has a retail price of $15.50 if you chose no other options. You know, by default, it's going to cost you that much money. And what you can do then is have your options increase or decrease that base price. So it's a price difference. If I wanted to decrease, I would just make it negative 500. And so some people will set up their product template at $0, and then based on which options they choose, then it increases the price. You can go either way. So that's for your product templates, and I can kind of now show you how this all works. Because it's great to set up these templates, but if you can't see what they're going to look like, it doesn't really help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a pricing page real quick and just show you what that looks like. So here in my pricing page, I've added 4 different packages, and you'll also see I have add-ons, and this flush mount album here has all of those different option types and options that I created for it. And so what that looks like, I'll just kind of show you just so you can see. So on my pricing page, someone goes and chooses a package, and then here on this album, right here, this album one, now you can see album finish, that's the option type, leather type, that's the option type, and then within here you can see the different, like see how it increases the price depending upon which option they choose. And then if they choose a smaller album, now it decreases the price. And so that's kind of how the options work. I know that was one thing that a lot of people kept asking me, how do I set up these products, and what are these options, and so that's what it'll look like once you've set it all up. So that was just a pricing page, and I guess I should tell you the difference between a pricing page and a proposal. So this pricing page that you saw, this is a public page that you can put out on the interwebs, and potential clients or even existing clients can go to it and kind of choose what they want, and it'll generate a proposal for you in the system. For some people, that's an extra step they don't really want to have to do, and so some people will use these, and other people will just go right to the proposal itself. So they get a lead from their website, or even just a potential, an existing client, and they say, hey, I want to book you. Rather than going through the whole pricing page step, you can just send them a proposal. But before you send them a proposal, rather than wasting that time building it the first time and sending it, and then having to build a proposal every single time manually, what I would recommend is after you've set up your product types and your packages, go to templates and proposal templates and set up a proposal template first before you go crazy and start sending it to people. So I already have a whole bunch of templates, but I'll just show you this one that I've set up. So in a proposal template, you tell it which contract you'll want them to sign. So I just chose one of my contract templates, and there's some free ones in Pixifi already for you in case you haven't chosen one. And so you'll just kind of save all the contract text. There we go. You can choose who is going to be added to the new event that it creates. So in my case, I just added myself as staff on it. You can have it automatically apply a workflow to the newly created event that gets booked. So if you haven't delved into workflows yet, I can either talk about it today, or we could talk about it next week. It doesn't matter. Workflow is really, really cool, though. You can also tell it how you want to split up the payments. So that way, when they fill out their proposal, they'll be prompted to pay online. So you'll just want to set up a payment term template for that and then select it. You can also, if you're not using workflow, you can at least have it set up and schedule event reminders and invoice reminders, and then add all of the packages you want them to be able to choose from. Some people will just add all of their packages for every proposal, and others, if they've already talked to the client, they'll just kind of remove the ones that they know that they're not going to choose. So you can do whatever you want. This is just the template we're in right now. So once you've added it to a lead or a client, you can then modify that specific proposal, and it won't affect this template. I hope that makes sense. And then you've added all your packages, and then you can also add all those add-ons like I talked about just a few minutes ago. And then you can also add coupon codes in case you want to offer someone an incentive to book. You can set expiration dates, and it's really cool. So now I've set up a proposal template, which obviously it was already set up, but I've kind of showed you, what makes it. Let's go to a lead and apply this proposal template. I'm just going to choose one of my dummy leads. And on this lead, I'm just going to click on the proposal tab. And it looks like I already created one, so I'm just going to delete that real quick. All right, so let's create a new one. Now, if you hadn't created a template, you could technically go through all of this process and fill out all of these fields, like the different options manually, whether you want them to be able to choose packages or not choose add-ons, disable different steps, adding a header image, like all of this stuff you set up in your proposal template. But if you hadn't done it, technically you could fill this all in now, but I'm just going to choose my template. Okay. Now we're going to edit the new one. Okay, so the cool thing was, because I set up the template, now the contract, staff, payment terms, workflow, all of this stuff already came over. I don't have to go and add a package that I've set up and fill all this out. I don't have to do any of that. I've already set it up once, and so now I could easily just go and email this right to my client. Another cool thing is you don't have to email it, like especially for people who want to do proposals in person. You can just hit this publish and view button. And now you could pull this right up on your laptop, your iPad, whatever you want, and they can go and do it all right in front of you. So let's just imagine I sent this to my client. Oh, and another cool thing I forgot to tell you, proposals can be password protected as well. So you can set a password on each proposal. Sometimes I forget to mention that. So some people like just that extra layer of privacy. So, okay, so here we are at the proposal, and I'm just going to pretend that I'm the client and I see the package I want. And the cool thing about these options, since we're looking at this right now, you can set it so that you can tell it whether options need to be required or not. So if you want them to have to choose an option, you can set it to be required. In fact, I'll show you that now just so that if it comes up again, you'll actually see it. So when you add your product types and then you add an option type, inside the option type, you can tell it how you want it to work, whether it's a single selection, and that would be either a combo box or a radio, radio buttons, or whether it's a multiple selection, checkbox or checkbox combo, and then whether it's required or not. So you can set all those up in your product types, option types. Hope that all makes sense. So let's go back here. So that's at least how you set them as required. Now we'll go to the details page, and everything is being kept track of in this little cart. Now they're taken to the review step where they need to fill out all their information. And these fields here, you can set up which fields are visible and which ones are required at any time. So I'm going to go, a lot of your settings are found in your brand settings. So I'm going to open up my brand settings real quick. And you'll see this tab called Proposal Fields. And so in here, I've chosen which ones are visible, which ones are required. I've collapsed entire sections. And so these are the fields that I want visible on my proposals and the ones I want required. So I could change that I don't want any of these contact to fields. I just want to collect all the contact one fields. You can totally do whatever you want. I'm just going to fill this out real quick. If only there was a fast forward button for all of you guys to fast forward through me typing all that. So then I've confirmed all my information. I can enter a coupon code. I could add locations if I wanted to. And now we continue to sign the contract. Yes, I'd love to. Can't go back and make any changes. Sure. And so now what it does is it takes all of the information that they've chosen, everything they've entered, and it creates a client, an event, an invoice, and a contract. So that way it can populate this contract with all of the data from what I've chosen. So I'm just going to initial these fields real quick. Okay. And sign this. And now it's going to prompt me to make my first payment. And that's all based on my payment terms template. So now if I have PayPal or PayJunction, BeanStream, any of those payment processors, Stripe, once they get to this step, then they'll be taken right to that payment processor to make their payment. And so on the back end of things, let me go to the proposal itself. So this is what the proposal looked like when we first sent it. It was tied to that lead. And now you can see here's the new client, the new event, the new invoice, and the new contract. And at any time, you can just click on these to take you right to that item. So I could go and take myself to the invoice and see everything that was ordered. And because I added payment terms, it split it into these payments. And now, because this was a silly demo, the actual due date is for the second one, because it's based on the event date, is actually due before the deposit, but that's just because this was a bad example. And oh, it also scheduled those invoice reminders, so I'm going to delete those real quick so I don't email myself. So, I mean, that you saw how quick and easy it was to, once you send the link, how quick and easy it is for your clients to book. I mean, they created the client, the event, the invoice, and the contract, and all you had to do was set up the proposal template once. And I mean, it's so much faster than going to the lead, converting it into a client and an event, then creating the invoice of everything they want, and then creating the contract. And then sending the contract. This was all just from one link. So I hope that makes those of you who are here who haven't done it yet, and those of you who are watching this later, if you haven't used the proposal system, I really hope that you get in there and start using it. Oh, and there's some questions. What's up, Adam? Okay, so all right, so Adam has two questions. The first question, at this time, it's not possible, but your second question I can definitely go into. So let's go to templates and then packages.
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, thank you. That's right. So for this question, um, for Adam, he asked, um, can I talk a little bit about packages? He's had trouble figuring out how they should be used in proposals. For example, he creates a package with several products and services, but he's having a hard time getting the correct information into the invoice and on the tax line. So um, let me just take you to one of my sample package templates. Okay, so I went and created a package called the Luxurious package, and within it, I've added each of the products and services that come with this package. So without any of these items in this section, nothing will appear in the invoice. So the invoice to generate line items needs at least one product and service to be added. And if you want your package to be taxable, then the first item that you add, just mark it as taxable. Is taxable, yes. And that when it creates the invoice, it will mark that line item and all the other line items as taxable. It gets a little trickier then if you like some people can only charge tax on products and not services, and so they need to use like there's different totaling types. Let me go into the proposal real quick. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so in the proposal template properties, all the way near the bottom, there is this totaling type, and this is needed to generate an invoice. And there's 4 different options that you tell it how to take the information that they chose and how to convert it into line items in the invoice. So you can either place the package total in the very first line item, itemize each line item's price. That is what a lot of people have to choose for when certain items in their invoice have to be taxable and others not. So the thing to watch out for the itemize is if in your package you set different retail prices and they don't add up to the package price, because it's going to be itemized, each of these items is going to appear as a line item with this price. And so if they don't total here, if this is way more, then that's what they're going to be charged. They're going to be charged way more. So just make sure that each of the retail prices you add for these products, if you're going to do the itemize option, that they add up to the exact package price. Otherwise, your clients will be like, whoa, 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 you're charging me 20 grand here, unless you need to charge them 20 grand, in which case that's awesome, do it. So then there's also this one package name as one line item with the total price, and then the one I usually choose, it creates the first line item as the package name with the total price of everything, and then lists out everything else below just with $0 amounts. So, and actually, well, I don't remember which proposal we were in, but I guess I could just go back real quick. Yeah, so here I'll just show you the invoice that was generated and what it looks like. So here it is. It took the Luxurious, it made the package as the first line item, and then each of the other line items below were $0, except for this flush mount album, which was the add-on that they added on to the proposal. So if I had the first item in my package not marked as taxable, then this 5,200 would not be taxable. And if you have any other invoices that have already been generated, at any time you can click on that item and just mark it as taxable or not taxable. So you can edit an invoice. Just go to the Edit Invoice tab and update the different line items. If your invoice already has payments that have been scheduled though, and you start making changes, you'll need to edit those scheduled payments that have already been added, because they won't dynamically update their amounts. They're just kind of statically created. So I hope that helps. Hope it makes sense. Does anyone want me to show them something?
I have a photo booth business, so I was just curious how that would transfer over with the packages.
Oh, awesome. So like, what kind of packages do you offer?
I offer three packages,
Okay.
and they each have different line items that are included, and then I have add-ons, like um, additional hours or a book, a photo album.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you totally could do that. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, um, because it'll support all the packages and add-ons and different things like that. Um, if you wanted, not in this video, but just separately on the side, I could definitely kind of walk you through that, just to help you if you need help, because I think I could definitely work for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, Olivia has a question. I was having problems in the booking pages, and someone choosing a date seems to only let me choose one date. I want to let them choose from multiple dates. Um, I guess I'd have to get more info from you, Olivia. Um,
Um,
oh, there you are. Pages, and someone choosing a date seems to.
Whenever I go to put anything, I can put a date in, and then they can like choose that date. But what if I like want to like let them choose like any day of the week, or I can let them choose like 3 days that I've set it like versus just the one specific date.
Okay, I'll show you one of my booking pages real quick. So here's what my booking page looks like that I send to clients, and they can choose any one of these services. I'm going to delete that consultation. That was a sample I did. Okay, cool. That looks more like what I wanted it to look like. And so in this 30-minute portrait session, if I set a specific date, like the 24th, and here's the start time and end time,
Mm-hmm.
then my clients will only be able to choose that date when they go to book it. Like, it won't be, let me just skip past all that. They won't be able to choose any other dates, because I've set it to be almost like how a mini session would work. You'd say, hey, this mini session is on the 24th, and these are the time slots available. But if I wanted them to be able to choose any day, all I have to do is clear that out, save it real quick, and then now let me just refresh this whole page. Now they can choose from a calendar, and now they've got a wide open set of time slots. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go test it.
Yeah, awesome. Be sure, since we're here and we're recording this, I'm just going to go to my brand settings real quick, and then booking. So that calendar will pull from these times, this availability, when you don't have it set to a specific date. So definitely make sure you set your hours of operation. And if you're going to have different staff members be able to be booked for different services in their staff profile, I'll just show you that too. They also have booking hours. So say certain people are available at certain times and other people aren't. You can go in there and add their specific hours, as well as availability overrides. So on Monday from 12 to 1, I'm unavailable. Wednesday, like you can add like breaks in their schedule so that they can't be booked during those times. So
If you don't have any like hours set yet, would it just say
it would just say no time slots are available. Yeah.
okay, that's my problem then.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Awesome. I'm glad I decided to show that. Perfect.
You got to that by going to
So The first one is in your brands, so go to settings, brands, and then edit your brand, and then you'll see a booking tab. And then this one that I'm currently in, I went to my contacts and staff and edited that specific staff member's booking schedule tab.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So let's see. Any other questions? Jackie, is it possible to have 2 emails, like one for inquiry and another for booking? Oh, Jackie, I am actually working on that. So currently, as of this video, no, but very soon, yes. And you'll be able to, when you go to send emails, you'll be able to choose which email you want to send it from. So, yes. Yes and no. No, not yet, but yes, it's coming. So I hope that answers your question.
Hey, Tim, buddy.
Yo, what's up, Jay?
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Quick question, man. Something I've never done before, and that is sending a contract addendum. So let's just say that I send a proposal, contract gets signed, and they want to, or they forgot to ask to say, have an add-on of an engagement shoot. So I need to, the contract's already signed, so what's the easiest way to go about fixing that to where I got to add the engagement shoot plus adjust the total cost or the amount in the actual contract?
Awesome. Here, I'll show you real quick. Well, let me delete these event reminders. All right, so I'm just going to go to a, actually, is this an event I just booked? It is. Okay, so let's go right to the contract that was signed. So as it stands right now, the contract has been accepted, it's signed, everything's good, but now we want to make a change. So we can either amend it or add an addendum. A lawyer will tell you exactly which one to use in the right circumstances. In this one, I'm just going to add a real quick amendment. I'm just going to add that and more blah, 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 blah. I'm going to also make them initial it, that they agree to this. And so now I've hit amend contract. Here is my contract change. If they log in on that same, the same link that they were given, they won't see the change until I publish it. So once I publish it, now that change is live, and I can either just click this real quick to view it.
So can you adjust the price though?
So here's what I'm saying. Oh, I can't even remember my own username and password. That's hilarious. You won't be able to change the original contract. That's the purpose of the amendment or the addendum. You would just list out all of the actual changes that are happening to the original document below. And I'm just going to click this sign in person because I can't remember my own login, which is pathetic, but that's all right. And so now here, all they're going to do is see the changes that you've made, and they don't have to sign the original. They've already done that. Now they're just going to sign these new changes. And
All right, that's great.
now, yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else want to see something? Oh, wow, there's more questions and I didn't even see them. All right, so let's see. So Adam's had customers who signed contracts but not fill out all the information. They're saying they don't get an error message. It seems to only happen when they forget a checkbox or miss an initial field. So let me just real quick go back to this event, and I'll just generate a real quick demo contract for you, Adam, just to show you, what it does and how it works. So I'm just gonna click on the contract tab. I'm gonna create one more from my template. Test. Let's save it. Sure. I'm gonna add myself as the recipient, who I want to sign. And I'm just going to sign right there in person because I don't feel like sending it to myself. Okay, beautiful. So here you can see there are initial fields and checkbox fields. These checkboxes are required checkboxes. So right now I can't even push this button until they're checked. If you're using just regular checkboxes, here, let me just sign it real quick. I'll just show you. When you hit sign, Adam, it lets them know, hey, you need to initial if they're not required checkbox, it's not going to tell them, hey, you need to check that checkbox because it's not set as required, but at least will definitely warn them that they need to initial it. So, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. The problem is they don't realize that this grayed out button doesn't mean that it means that it's not clickable. I guess, Adam, I'll add like a little tooltip then that says, you know, hey, guess what? This button is disabled. So, yeah, I can definitely do that for you just to deal with people who don't understand. No problem. Not a problem. Ooh, Jasmine has a question. Tracking the cost of credit card processing in payments, there is a payment fees box, but it says it's not counted towards the amount owed, which seems not to be quite what I'm trying to do. Okay, so let me show you something. Let's go to finances and then the money module, Jasmine. All right, so in this payments, oh, I have to choose a different year. Let's just go to last year. Okay, so here in my listing, you can see that $55, you know, $56 was stolen from me in stupid credit card fees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these three payments, or just all of them if all of them had fees. I'm just going to select these three. And here I'm going to hit batch update. And then here I'm going to create an expense for those payment fees. So I'm going to say it's for this brand, and I'm going to mark it as, this account doesn't actually have the ones that I actually use, but for this I'm just going to say it's a consultant fee, even though this is not what I would choose in real life. This is just my dummy account. But then I would say payment transaction fee, and it's going to create expenses for the same day that the payment was received for these fees. So, and now you'll see these little green check boxes. So when I refresh, or maybe I'll just choose consultant fees, because that's what I ended up doing. You'll see here's the 55, and the other 3 cents, and it lets you. It even links it to that invoice that those payments were associated with.
But
So,
how did you get it to originally create that? Like, how did it generate that $55 price in the first place?
So I guess it all depends on which payment processor you use. PayPal and I think Stripe and a couple other ones should automatically just put that in when they get logged into Pixifi, and some of the others don't pass that back, so you'd have to manually.
Okay, so these processing fees are already being tracked, and I just didn't realize it.
They should be, yeah. It all depends on which processor you use, but yeah, they should all be there. And then all you have to do is just batch create them as expenses, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're so welcome. Would anyone else like to see anything? Sure. So to your CPA, what you could do is you could send them an export of all of your payments, an export of all of your expenses. You can send them your profit and loss report. You can also you can export as a spreadsheet or a PDF. You could also go into the mileage, finances mileage, and export all of the mileage that you've been tracking as well. So yeah, does that help? Oh yeah, and the sales tax collected, you can also export. Well, this is obviously the wrong year, but you can export all the sales tax you've collected as a spreadsheet as well for them. And if you have a boutique or pro plan, you can always add them as a staff member to your account. And then, and I'll just show this real quick for since this is being recorded. In this roles section, you can create staff roles, and in each role you can say what type of access people have to the different modules. So you could say, I'll just add a new one, and I would say that everyone they would have no access to anything except for money and mileage, and this would just be, I would call it a CPA login role. Any staff members that you associate with that permissions role will only have access to the money module and mileage, and maybe invoices too, just so they can go through that. So you could always do that as well in case you didn't feel like exporting it all. You just say, here's your login, log into my account, everything's there, have fun. So you could always do that too. Hope that helps. I guess I'll ask a question. How many of you are using the lead pipeline tool? Anyone out there using it? Oh, awesome. Oh, not sure what it is. Not sure what it is. It's amazing. So right now I'm on my dashboard, and I guess we should start there. If you haven't edited your dashboard yet, just go to dashboard and then edit. And what you can do is you can drag and drop and reorder the different widgets that are available. So I'm just going to put the lead pipeline on top real quick, and then it's going to refresh. Okay, so give it a second to load. There's a lot of stuff loading. Okay, so here's this lead pipeline. It's a tool I created a couple months back, and I love it because, well, I guess I'll show you first the traditional way of managing your leads, and then you can see why the lead pipeline tool is fun. So here we are in the leads module. Here's a giant list of inquiries that I've gotten from my website or from a bridal show, or wherever I've gotten these leads. They're all in my system, but I need a way to manage them. And so what we have are lead statuses, and by default, if you don't create any, there's like a little button that appears somewhere here in the middle that says, hey, do you want to start off with some demo ones? So you can just click that, and you'll see basically exactly what you see right here. And these lead statuses are a way to kind of flag or tag whatever the word you want to use, your leads, to kind of know where you are in the process. But the cool thing is they're not just tags or ways to filter, because you can totally click on filter options and filter by status. So only show me the new leads, which I have none. Only show me stale leads, or only show me whatever I want. So you can definitely filter them, but they do so much more than that. Within each status, you can have it automatically apply a workflow, a lead workflow, and you can also have it automate switching. So this little auto switch status, basically, if this lead that comes in stays as a new lead for 2 days, 3 weeks, 10 months, whatever duration you choose, you can have it either automatically switch to another status, which I have it then need to follow up, or just archive the lead and give a reason. And so the cool thing about that is then if a lead comes in from my website and I have it mark it as a new lead, if I do nothing, it will then switch it to need to follow up after 2 days. So then in need to follow up, I have it automatically firing off this workflow. And in that workflow, I can have it send an email, questionnaires, generate tasks, whatever I want, because it's a workflow. And then if after 5 days I still have done nothing with it, then it marks it as stale. And then if it stays as stale for 5 more days, then it archives it. So the cool thing about that is that even if I did nothing, my lead is still being contacted, and things are still happening within the system to keep things moving. So it's really, really cool. So then that now brings this lead pipeline. I wanted a way to visually manage my leads, sort of like what is it, Trello, or some of those other things. And so the cool thing is you can drag and drop your leads into these different statuses, and just by me doing that, I've now fired off workflows for these different leads, and within each status you can filter it. All these are both called test, but let me just drag that in. You can kind of narrow it down and search within there. It's really cool. So so then I just also made a dashboard widget, so that way when you first log in, you can, let me just refresh this jammy. You can just manage your leads right away, at a first glance, so you don't even have to go to contacts, leads, and then the lead pipeline tool. So that's what that is. It's just a really cool graphical way to manage your leads.
Hey, Tim.
Yo. Oh, it's Anthony. What's up, dude? I was like, who's talking? Who's talking?
Sorry. Yeah, I've been mute this whole time. So I had a question regarding the pipeline.
What's up?
How do you set up the workflows? Because I was looking for a way to like automatically email them if I hadn't heard from them in a while or something like that.
Awesome. So because you're going to be using workflows, like lead workflows for the different statuses, then let me just see if this is the one that I had done. No. So, I'm just going to create a real quick one just to show you.
Okay.
Let's add a new workflow. We'll make it a lead one. And this will be my I call these micro workflows because they only do like little things.
Okay.
It's not like a full-blown workflow that has tons of phases and tasks and all that stuff. So this one, I'm going to only have it fire off on that certain lead status. And what I'm going to do is when I have it send the email, I'm going to send it 0 days after they first contacted me. And so what that will do is as soon as, well, I guess I can just show you. As soon as the lead is marked in that status, it will then create that automatic email, and because that date is now either today or in the past, it'll automatically send it right away. So
Okay.
yeah, so let's just do that real quick. And what I'm going to do is, let's do this one. I'm going to set a status on this guy with my batch update. Call him a new lead. And so now I'm going to go right into that lead just to show you what happened. Now here is that email that I told it to schedule, and now it's scheduled on 2/5, so that means it's going to send in the next, like 10 minutes or whatever, whenever the emailer processes through all of the ones that are scheduled.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. And then at any time, I could manually change the status here in the lead, but you can also do it through the pipeline tool.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Oh, Jasmine. Jasmine has another question. Yeah. So Jasmine's comment was, so in my lead statuses list, I have just a few different statuses that I use, but she finds that she has lead statuses for like every little step in the process, and basically her pipeline probably looks so crowded she probably can't even read the leads. That's my guess. Because
it looks crazy, Tim. It looks crazy.
Yeah, so that makes sense because there's just so many up here. It can't even display them all. So what I would, we could always work on this just together offline from this video, but maybe there's a way that you can, through the workflows that each status fires off, have it do some of the things that you're using each status for. And maybe you can't, but we can at least kind of brainstorm and figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, you're blowing my mind right now with some of these. I mean, I think sometimes you're showing us all things that you take for granted as no big deal, that like you're skipping some steps because that's no big deal because you're trying to explain some epic new thing that you did, but you're not realizing that the tiny little step that you skipped is blowing all of our minds.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why there's so many. That's basically why I wanted to do this, because it's so hard for me to unlearn what I already know, and I keep forgetting that people have no idea. They're like, oh, I've never seen that. Like, what? Where is that? How did you do that? So, yeah. I mean, if you want me to slow down and show you anything else, please, let me know, and I'll be happy to show you. Just say the word, and I'll show you.
Is each workflow its own email then, or I'm confused by that?
Oh, okay. So here, let me go back to my templates workflows. Oh, and who asked that question? Who did that? I didn't actually see who asked the question.
Sorry, that was Susie, Alfresco Photo Booth.
Oh, hi, Susie. Okay, so let's go back to this lead workflow that we were in. What I did was, when you first create the workflow, nothing's going on. It's just truly empty. And so what I did was I said I'm going to add an automatic email that will get scheduled as soon as this workflow is applied. I could also say, hey, send them this questionnaire template with this email to the link to it, and send it. I could send it like 1 week after they first contacted me. And so, once I've applied this workflow, this email will be scheduled and this questionnaire will be scheduled. So I don't have to do anything once I've applied this workflow. Like, they're going to get this questionnaire 1 week after they've contacted me, and the same day that they contact me, basically, they'll also get this email template. And I don't have to do anything. Like, you could just sit back and sip tea or edit and edit and edit. Whatever you got to do.
Contacting you in between that, like, for me, the reason why I always kind of avoid automation is because I'm nervous about the unexpected stuff that happens between automated things. So, like, let's say I have something scheduled to go out at the end of today, but a couple contacts me in the middle of the day. I'm afraid that I'll forget, and something will automate to check up on them or whatever. But right. In fact, we already spoke.
What I would do then is edit your dashboard, and there's this scheduled emails widget. I would say put that right at the top. So let me just add one more to even balance it out. Now it'll refresh in just a second, so you can see. And so you'll see in this listing, these are all the different. Well, I could probably, there you go, show you all the emails that are scheduled to go out, and it'll tell you what they are. They're either an event reminder, a questionnaire, there's payment reminders, and you can just click on them and it'll take you right to, like this one will take me right to the event. So if you know that Tim, like this is the lead me, this is my lead, you know that Tim just called you, and so you really don't even want to send this email, you could just hit delete right from here, and now that email won't even go out.
Awesome.
Yeah, so for your sake, I would say put it right at the top. So as soon as you log in, you'd be like, oh, Shaz, I don't want that going out. Let me delete that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Would anyone else like to see anything in the last 5 minutes?
Tim, is there a way to... I do a lot of newborn photography at the hospitals, so they're cold leads coming into me. They're first entered into the system as clients. Is there a way to send automated email based on the special dates so that 2 months out I'm sending them an invitation for a 3-month session?
Let me see what. Let me see. Have you created? Have you created an event for that client yet?
Yes. Once they go into the system, they go in as the client as well as the event.
Okay.
So it would be better to do it as a workflow then.
Yes, because then in the workflow you could schedule out,
Right.
3 weeks after the event or whatever, follow up with them and send them an email or whatever.
I guess it's one of those things I just need to vocalize to figure it out, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It kind of helps. You're like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else have a question? Some of you have been silent. I'm just kidding. Awesome. I'm so glad this was helpful for all you guys. That makes me very happy. I just wanted to make sure that this was, helpful. So awesome. Well, then I guess we'll just wrap it up a little early, and I hope you guys have a great week. And feel free to ask any other questions in the Facebook group. And yeah, have a great day, guys.
Thanks, you too.
Awesome. Bye.